Remember the first time you played a game that made you care about its character? Or the time that you realized that games are more than just entertainment and fantasy? Well, for me, as the credit rolled in the game of Journey, I sat there and, well, as the credit rolled, I reflect not just on the character's journey, but on my own experience. A story that unfolded through a video game has captivated me in ways that I never experienced before. Hello, everybody. I'm Nagorn, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I am very enthusiastic to be a speaker for all of you. So before we continue, can we see the hands of those who plays video games on a daily basis? Just like all of you, I have always been a game enthusiast. Or to put it more simpler, I was addicted to gaming. But one particular moment has shifted the trajectory of my ambition forever. I understood that although I have had a great opportunity at competing in video games at the highest level, I decided I wanted to become a game developer. I wanted to create this astonishing game for me and my peers to enjoy. But in today's talk, I won't be teaching you all there is to know about game development. Instead, I want to explain in depth about how games can potentially help you understand more about your life and yourself. As the younger generation may know, the gaming industry has been one of the fastest growing industry as of the recent years. And at a glance, most of the revenue that was generated by region just happens to be here in Asia. And to put into perspective, 93% of the people in Thailand who have access to the internet spend roughly an hour and a half daily on the gaming console. I want everyone to know, and especially parents to understand, that the reason your kids always argues with you on why gaming is just very beneficial is because gaming is the ultimate art form. And some might wonder, how is gaming a form of art? Well, because gaming embodies agency. It has visual art, it needs animation, story-driven narrative, great soundtrack, collaboration alongside with competition, challenge, and world building in just one package. Can you believe that? Your child is experiencing all of that in just one sitting, staring at the same screen, wandering through the internet, searching for a great artwork to enjoy. When games first emerged, their narratives were simple. Think of Super Mario. You're an Italian plumber trying to save a princess from this monster with a spiky turtle shell in the back. The story served as this thin framework for just gameplay. But as technology progresses, so did the complexity of the narrative. Games like The Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy introduce worlds that are filled with lores, characters with complex backstories, and moral choices that just affected the outcome of the entire story. Suddenly, we weren't just playing. We were emotionally invested into these characters and the storyline. And fast forward to today, and we have games like The Last of Us, God of War, and my personal favorite, Red Dead Redemption 2, that tells the stories with the depth and the nuance of a film or a novel, except there's one key difference. In these games, you are the main protagonist. Now let's cut to the chase. We as a human being learn from the mistake we make throughout our lives. As with video games, you know how you started to learn how to master the movement mechanics within the game because it gives you an advantage over your enemies. Well, exactly how it is like in life. You learn and become better, a step at a time, mastering everything, so that you can excel against others. And even if you don't actually achieve greatness, it gives you a sense of purpose. As an upcoming game developer, one of the fundamentals in creating a great game is to have a story that the players would enjoy. But what if I tell you that you don't need a concrete idea at all? You see, last week I took this camp regarding game development, and one of the teachers suggested that before you create this astonishing game you have in mind, start by questioning your ideas with a simple "can I" question. Like, for example, can I create an educational game? Or can I implement series of quests? Or can I provide setbacks for the player? That way, the game generates a learning curve for the players to enjoy. As simple as the question may be, it tells us that the small steps towards something that has great tendency to just be profound are always better than having a great idea, but never having the initiative to execute them. I want you guys to take a moment and reconsider for a bit. Imagine a life without setbacks. When you face setbacks, you tend to learn from them. Every mistake that you make, or even challenging obstacle, you often learn. Like how you would start getting mad in those video games because you can't get through that particular level. But the moment you gain the ability to surpass the level, you start to accomplish more. Some games place player in a morally complex situation where there is no clear right or wrong choice. The outcomes of these decisions often have a far-reaching consequence, affecting not just the immediate situation of the game, but the entire world within the game. This teaches us about moral responsibility and the importance of carefully considering all of your action. In the real world, we are often faced with similarly nuanced situations where every choice has a ripple effect. Learning to weigh these decisions thoughtfully, just as we do in game, prepare us to act with greater awareness in life. As we continue to stumble into the world of game design, we must implement teamwork and collaboration, requiring players to work together to achieve a common goal. In these environments, communications and the ability to leverage each other's strength is vital. This teaches the importance of working well with others, both in a structured team or in a more open, creative environment. Just like the world of gaming, much of what we accomplish in life is the result of shared effort, where the collective power of a group can lead to achievement far greater than what any individual could ever accomplish alone. Communication is the key to every foundation, either with a group of friends or on a personal level relationship. Based on my experience, I learned this the hard way. Me and my friend had this great idea for a competition somewhere in Bangkok, but things started to turn upside down when I felt like I was doing all the work, while the other person just wasn't simply on the same page as me. We almost scrapped the idea until I sat down for this final talk. We figured out that we needed everybody to stay at the same pace. And with effective communication, we were able to sort things out the way it should have. And I just wanted to say that I was very grateful for how communication has helped me turn the situation the way it is now. Some games force players to confront consequence of their action, pushing them to reflect on the decision that they've made. And these games often highlights the emotional and the moral complexity of relationship, survival, and personal growth. Players are challenged to think critically about their choices, understanding that every action has a consequence. And this directly translates to real life experiences, where personal growth often comes from facing difficult situations and learning from them. Game help us reflect how we handle adversity, teaching us that growth is not just about success, but about learning through different experience and lenses. The goal for most developers is to create a story-driven game that just immerses the player into the lives of the characters within the game. And these characters often face difficult emotional journeys, from dealing with the loss and trauma to navigating friendships and love. The decisions we made for these characters are often morally complex, that requires us to consider multiple perspectives. By directly influencing the characters' choices, we experience their struggle as our own, which deepens our emotional connection. The level of engagement teaches us to better understand human emotion and motivation, because in real life, this mirrors the importance of compassion and active listening while we are interacting with others, reminding us that everyone's experience and feelings are as unique and deserve the same level of empathy. Additionally, by seeing the consequence of our decision play out in the game, we become more aware of how our real life choices affect those around us. Many games are built around the ideas that failure is inevitable. But instead of being something to avoid, it presented a key part of a learning process. As a player, we embrace failure and view it as a tool for growth. And we often do this by taking risk. Risk is one of the most important learning experiences everyone will eventually have to go through and take. Risk within the game mirrors real-life experiences, when we often face challenges that requires persistence and determination to overcome. In both game and life, we learn that success is not about avoiding failure, but about learning from it and continuously moving forward. And this mindset helps us build resilience, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Games are more than just entertainment. They are these interactive stories that explores our emotion, confront complexity, and navigate relationships and personal growth. Through gameplay, we learn empathy by stepping into the shoes of these various characters within the game, resilience by overcoming obstacle that comes your way, and the importance of collaboration by working with others towards a common goal. As we wrapped up, I'd like to leave you with this question. What if the next game you play could teach you something valuable about yourself or the world? Think about each challenge, each storyline, and each choices that you make, and how it could shape your perspective in ways that you might never expect. I am Naguan Ratchanapala, your speaker for today, and thank you very much for listening.